Remember that time when Alfred Hitchcock made those first really good thrillers and everyone was like, "Woo! These movies are so good, I don't think I want to see another one ever again!" And so movie theaters only showed The Birds and Vertigo for a while. You know, until that poor little orphan filmmaker, begging for the right to make another movie, just made one. Then the people were like, "Go away! Go away! No! We already have a good movie! We don't need another one! Go away!" But the filmmakers made more anyway, so eventually everyone settled their differences by allowing more movies to be made, but still, no matter what, Alfred still gets like 1/3 of movie theater screens forever. Remember that? Me neither. But I do remember it for this guy. I don't hate the guy. I have next to no opinions about him at all, actually. In fact, I like his stories. But why are his stories so popular 400 years later, while I can't name a single other playwright, except, maybe, but see, that's just how big of a deal Shakespeare is. That doesn't really seem fair, does it? I don't hate him though. So in my research, I think I found 5 reasons why his work has remained so popular for so long. Starting with, when you ask theater students, also known as the only people who go to plays, why Shakespeare is so relevant, you'll be hard-pressed to find another answer than, "They're so good, dude. They're so good. I mean, you gotta see them. They're funny, they're tragic, they're erotic." But this answer doesn't satisfy me, and it shouldn't satisfy you, because, interestingly enough, there have been other good writers.
But they're so good. They touch on themes of love and rage and kings and queens.
There's magic and
they're universal.
But this answer doesn't satisfy me either, and it shouldn't satisfy you because, interestingly enough, there have been other good writers. I mean, is it exactly hard to find more stories about love and hatred? And the idea that he just understood human nature more than any other writers is just a load of ass, in my opinion. Just a fat load of ass. But yes, his stories are actually good. They're very dramatic and funny and creative. I think some people can go down in history for simply producing great work too. But it's exceedingly rare, because there's always new great work to be consumed. More often than not, I think it's a combination of creating great work and being popular. And in his day, Shakespeare was very much that. Much like these other freaking British people. Were they the greatest musicians of all time? No. Did they write the greatest songs of all time? Impossible to answer. But yeah, no. What they did do though was write a lot of music that was consistently at least good. Then a few hits here or there. Just like this guy. But hey, if you've been moved by Shakespeare's works more powerfully than by anyone else's, good for you, honestly. But don't ever let me catch you saying some uninformed garbage like, "They don't make movies like they used to." I will kill you. This is not a joke. I will kill you with a gun for saying that. In his day, Shakespeare was popular, yeah, but he was also just a guy. People rewrote his plays however they liked and gave them happy endings or entirely new characters. They weren't sacred, and not everyone considered him a genius. That all started to change in the Victorian period. Poets started to romanticize the idea of him and his work. John Keats, the nerd, even had a picture of him that he took everywhere, even on vacation. Oh my god, look, there it is! So this is the era when you started to get Spombeerian Puritans who upheld that theater should be kept as it always has been, and that Shakespeare's plays should always be performed as they were intended to be originally. Which is a funny bit of irony considering Mr. Speenbley himself made radical changes to theater of his day. But yeah, the point is, much like many great artists, he was and continues to be mythologized and made mysterious to us. Not nice. Now I'm going to say 4 words from your nightmares. You haven't seen The Taming of the Shrew? Look at you. You're humiliated. Now there's no doubt in my mind that if you don't know the plot to Taming of the Shrew, you're about to make sure you do to protect yourself in the future. To be fair, this kind of peer pressure to know every single classic work of art only really exists in the preppiest crowds, but at the same time, who is going out to see or read a Shakespeare play on purpose in the modern day? Exactly. And it also just so happens that those who are competing with the world to prove their intellectual superiority also sometimes work for the schools. That's right. Another way that an artist or their art can grab onto relevancy and hold on forever is by getting taught in schools. The worst way, but a way. I bet you remember all those books you read in school. Maybe you even watched some movies. Some of them were bad. Some of them were actually great. Doesn't matter. You hated every second of it and haven't read a book or watched an old movie for pleasure since. But being standard education is certainly one of the reasons why Uncle Spears is a household name today. Heck, He was also English, so it's been pretty standard procedure that anywhere they go, Sping Basma goes too. But just as a side note...
Yeah. That is for every schoolboy and schoolgirl for the next 400 years.
And this last one is going to hurt, depending on who you are, but if we're being totally honest with ourselves, Quake Bongo wouldn't be the only playwright anyone has ever heard of if theater was still a popular medium of entertainment today. Who knows? Maybe if movies die, Hitchcock will be one of the only filmmakers kids in a few hundred years have ever heard of. Wouldn't that be a shame, though? These are good plays, and these are good movies. But they're not the only good plays or good movies. Theater should be preserved, just as paintings and music and anything should be preserved. I'm happy that the world has so much of Humbo Grug's work left around, and that it can still move us and tell us so much about history. But, and this is the last but of the video, if Quimbly Obo loved theater and really loved the medium for itself, wouldn't he want it to progress and for us to enjoy more than 15 or so plays for the rest of time? I don't know, school. Would he?